today to honor a veteran with a program that we call Strength and Courage Then and Now. Today we honor Vincent Dec, and he's from right here in Dayton, and he's here to help us keep history alive. Vince is a retired U.S. Marine and a DAV life member. He was known, in his service, he was known as the soldier who would do whatever was necessary, and now he continues to do whatever's necessary to help veterans. The mission for the B25 back then was to bomb Tokyo. The mission now is one of public outreach and service to veterans. Very much like what Vince does all the time right here in the Dayton area. Services to veterans now are just as relevant as they were back then. And now is the time, just like Vince, to do everything we can to help the men and women know where to turn for help, just as we've always done and have done since 1920. I know Vince is a very caring individual who truly has a heart for veterans. Joining us is Vincent Dec and all veterans in the community across the nation to honor him and all veterans. DAV since 1920 and still today, fulfilling the promises to the men and women who served. Ladies and gentlemen, Vincent Dec, our Strength and Courage Then and Now veteran honoree, and I think Larry would like to say a few words.
I want to give you a little bit of history about Vic. We're all from the same generation, Ray and Dec and I, and that Vietnam generation. And I remember so well when all of our friends were being drafted and enlisting and going off. And Vincent here had all of his friends were being drafted, enlisted, and going, and he wanted to go. But his father, who was a Marine in World War II and wound up dying from his injuries that he had received during World War II, he didn't have to go. He had to actually get his mother's permission, reluctantly, to be able to enlist. Gets over to Vietnam and is volunteered to do whatever needs to be done, and one of the things he was doing was helping move canisters containing Agent Orange. We know now that's one of the most caustic and literally deadly chemicals that were ever unleashed. And of course, being extremely exposed to it, after a few months wound up developing skin lesions, tumors, and all kinds of other problems. Today we see people who, veterans that are exposed to it back in the 60s and the 70s now develop in adult insulin-dependent diabetes, tumors, all kinds of problems from Agent Orange. Really, really nasty stuff. It forced a medical discharge. But today, Vince is still spending, 7,000 hours in the last couple of years, 1,000 hours a year. A 40-hour work week is only a little over 2,000 hours a year. So here's a guy spending half of a normal work week volunteering, helping other veterans receive the benefits that they've earned through through their service. There's 1.2 million veterans, we estimate, in the United States that are not receiving benefits for injuries and disabilities directly related to their military service. This is not an entitlement program, the VA. We, the American taxpayer, the public, owe these veterans for these services, and that's what the DAV does. Always for free, never a charge to the veterans. The DAV makes certain that people, like Mr. Dec here, get their benefits. So like a lawyer advocates for you in court, the DAV takes your case and advocates for you as well. And it's a generosity of American industry, it's a generosity of the American public that helps pay for the services the DAV then provides for free. The DAV has vans stationed at VA hospitals across the United States for free transportation for veterans to get back and forth to the hospitals. The DAV is probably the most widely known and respected advocate in the U.S. Congress. We have a large office in Washington advocating U.S. Congress for veterans. So no one represents your organization any better than Mr. Dec right here. We appreciate your service. We have a certificate here for you. Your strength and courage, and certainly, you've certainly demonstrated everything that's right about this.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, I had a script, but I'd rather ad-lib.
It was better than ad-lib.
Yeah, you did outstanding. I give you a plus.
Congratulations, Vince.
Thank you for coming out and joining us.
Ryan, we'd like for you to come up and